Let's put our app aside for just a minute and talk about dictionaries. We can create dictionaries in a variety of ways, and depending on how you want to store data in them, one way makes more sense than the other. The idea of a dictionary, it's kind of like a list that you can put items into it and then get them back by looking them up. But instead of using numbers like a list of 7, you actually use something called a key. Now those keys can be strings, they can be numbers, or they can be a variety of objects. Whatever the natural thing that you use to identify something with, you can use that as the index, if you will, instead of a number. So let's create a dictionary. And there's several ways to do it. We could say lookup equals this. If you have open, close, curly braces, that's a dictionary. You could write the identical code, say lookup equals dictionary, like this. Or you could even initialize it like this. Lookup equals age 42, location Italy, right? And we could use this. There's actually a variety of ways to do this. We could say basically the same thing, dictionary, but instead of using strings, we can use named parameters, keyword values, like so, almost like so. So I could print, look up here. You can see the sort of Python printout style is this. If we have a dictionary though, we can get the values back. Like if I wanted to know the location, I could say, give me lookup of location. And instead of using numbers to say, give me the second thing, it doesn't matter where or what order this is in. In fact, these are unordered collections, but it uses an extremely fast algorithm to find this value. So here you can see the location is Italy. If we try to get something out of the lookup that doesn't exist, if I try to ask for the category, it's not super happy. Key error category. If you're going to do this, you have to do a somewhat non-obvious but kind of cool syntax. You have to say if cat is in lookup, if the key is in there, then you can print out cat. So if I run it right now, there's no cat in here. So there's no output, but I can add cat dynamically later after I create it. I can say cat, and I just set a value is fun code demos. And now when I run it, hey, cat is in there and its value is this. Sometimes you use dictionaries to store data like this, right? Sometimes you store heterogeneous data. I want to take an individual piece of information and say the age is this, the location is that. In fact, whenever we create a custom class, if we have a class like this, remember a wizard, and we defined the dunder init, and we said it's going to take a name and a level, and we said something like this. This actually creates a dictionary entry where the dictionary key value is level and then the value is the name of it. So dictionaries are actually super central to object-oriented programming. So let's create a wizard really quick. And if I print out Gandalf, you'll see there's not much going on, right? Here is Gandalf right here, main wizard, but there's an implicit dictionary that actually stores this data, and you can see the level and the name. Right, so understanding dictionaries is ultra important in Python because it's not just about an interesting data structure you sometimes. In fact, all objects are built on the concept of dictionaries, so you really have to understand them well. One use case for this is sort of storing in an individual item disparate data like so, like level name or age and location. Another one might be you have a bunch of similar data. Like what if I got 100,000 users back from a database query or from a web service, and I'd like to be able to quickly pull them back by ID, almost like a database. Like in memory, I'd like to say, give me user 2711. Bam, and I want that back instantly, not seeking over an index, not seeking over a list and doing 2,000 compares, and then finally going, oh, well, here's the one you were looking for, but instantly finding it basically. So I have a little bit of code I stashed down here. Let's look at that. So here we have our users, and this is, imagine we have many, 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 many more of them. And we would like to be able to pull them back by their ID. So we can also use dictionaries for this. Let's say lookup equals a new dictionary again. And we can just say for each user in, each U in users, we can say the lookup. And I would like to, when I'm going to look up a user, maybe I want to look them up by ID. So I can just say this. Anytime I want, if I have 1 million users, if I have their ID, I can get them back ultra fast. So want to know what the user with ID 3 looks like? Well, let's run it. Bam, that's user 3 with email user3@talkpython.fm. We could use a different index. We could use email. Now, if I run this, it's going to crash. I say I want the user with the key of that email address. Boom, there's that user right there. Right, so we can look them up by whatever we want. We can say we would like to have a bunch of users and be able to ultra fast pull out the one by, you name it. We could do username, we could do email, we could do ID. You can only do one, but this lets us store homogeneous sets of data, but then find them by key. Whereas up here, dictionaries we're using more for storing disparate data, not different instances of it, but actually different but related data, like both the age and location are somehow tied together. We can access the parts. It's more this top style that we're going to use for our CSV file. So let's take a moment, look at this core concept, and then we'll go back to working on our real estate data mining app.